Yeah.
Give me 1 sec. Hi. Today we have a very interesting guest, the Nils-Julius from BANCC. Nils already in our crypto industry since 2012 and never left since that time. He ran a lot of successful companies at a very young age, and right now with his new product here, he is trying to implement all of his knowledge, all of his understanding of cryptosphere to create a new, very efficient FinTech product. And right now we will discuss that product, that project, and we'll try to understand where our, let's say, ideas and understanding of our industry matches. He's right now in Italy. So, Nils,
yeah. Hello.
Hi. Tell us about your project.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you so much for having me here. It's always fun to connect with people in the space and discuss about cryptocurrency. So, yeah, I'm CTO and founder of BANCC, and BANCC is a decentralized platform with financial technology and build and bridge it with blockchain possibilities in really simple terms. So we have worked on this project, or we started this idea 3 years ago, and we have done a lot of research to not only understand cryptocurrency, but different sectors and markets on money remittance of sectors that we want to join and make a difference in, and being innovate fintech company that provides important and good infrastructure for facilitating transactions, essentially. So that's a short bit of introduction about BANCC, I would say.
Tell us more to understand what's going on right now, and tell us more about the product you are releasing right now.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, like the core idea was based on that. I'm from Scandinavia, I'm from Norway, and I have family in Sweden, all around Scandinavia, and sending money through one of the bets, and you need to pay around like 10% in in fees. Sorry about that. We came to the conclusion that it must, be a different way to be able to send money, cross-border payments. So we just started to build on that idea. And for me, being a hardcore crypto fan and crypto enthusiast since 2012 at a very young age, we wanted to implement, utility with cryptocurrency in that sense, to not only bridge connections for people that wants to send money worldwide, but also for people or merchants that wants to accept cryptocurrencies
feels like
for their online or paid. It's just that they want to pay, essentially. Sorry about that.
Yes, it feels like the connections kind of broken because it's related that you're right now in Italy. So sorry for that, but let's move forward because it's very interesting, and let's move forward. I hope our viewers could sustain that.
Definitely.
What did you do? What did you do?
Sorry.
No. What did you do when you came to crypto in 2012? Because it's like a decade ago. It's like it's generations ago. In our crypto world, it's like ages ago. What were your first steps in crypto?
I mean, yeah. Yeah, definitely. I think my connection is going down again. Just verify, so it's all good. I suppose it's all good. But yeah, I mean, that's a really tough question. It just I started to be interested in hardware technology, you know, graphic cards and playing computer games, etc. at a very young age, obviously. And essentially, I remember I bought some Amazon AMD Radeon 5970s, really good graphic cards at that time with 2 GPU units. And then I just started to search around on different forums talking about technology, and somebody, you know, tickled my mind in a very different. On that time, it called Darkcoin for an example, one of the most popular ones, Dogecoin, etc. So yeah, that's how it started, and it just, you know, have evolved on building myself up on understanding the fundamentals of cryptocurrency and what cryptocurrency stands for in terms of decentralization and what Bitcoin have paved the way for. So yeah.
It feels like that you are the early investor of Dogecoins. Is it right?
Yeah, I mean, I have never bought Dogecoin, but I had mined Dogecoin when I was younger.
Yes, it's truly interesting. How did you form the team for such a complicated fintech product? Because we don't realize that even finding, let's say, KYC AML officer for, let's say, just regular neobank, it's already very complicated. But forming the team for some investment bank, a new investment bank, or new fintech product like a Revolut or something like that, it's outstandingly complicated from human resource hunting perspective. But creating the team of unique professionals that could connect the both worlds, it's like rocket science. So how did you form the team for such a complicated fintech product?
That's a really tough question, because it's really hard finding specific extraordinary candidates for it, because as you just said, you want to have good crypto expertise and good traditional fintech expertise. But what I necessarily search for, because these two things in one way is learnable, and it's not necessary to understand all of the cryptocurrency at once, you know. But one of the things that I have when we hire new people is that we want to hire people with ideas. Mm-hmm. You know, we want people that wants to question how people get paid or how people can send money, these ideas. And I think we have found a really strong foundation in the core team of building different products in very big sectors. I mean, it's a very, very tough plan to achieve. But obviously it's something that is very, you know, high risk, high reward in terms of finding the right people. But I like the, you know, finding people with ideas kind of mentality. It suits me very good, and I wanted to have the same feeling all around the company itself.
It's very creative, by the way. It's like the team of inspired visionaries, like the team who is the team of actual creators, not like monkeys. It's very inspirational from, let's say, acquiring new employees, and very inspirational to work in such companies. So yes, definitely, it's very, very beautiful strategy. Let's try to understand the near future of neobanking in the context of Vitalik Buterin's decentralized world forecast. What will the role of banks in a world where states and public institutions are replaced by decentralized protocols? What do you think about it?
I think states, you know, especially with these kind of market conditions, I think it's quite special, you know, seeing the halvings of Bitcoin at such a young age, and perhaps at being an adolescence at 15, 16, you perhaps didn't understand economy in that such big level, right? I think the core vision and how I believe it will be in the future is that state will have an important role to put some regulations and legislations on the core pillars of how we can facilitate transactions in a safe way. So, KYC and anti-money laundering. And I think the public institutions will not be the core product itself. Even as we starting this company, I don't think we will be the core product of delivering specific features from to the public, as we are holding their money. I don't think we will be in their custody with their fund. The public institutions will ask the persons or other institutions for agreement on handling each other's funds, essentially, I would say.
Okay. So how will self-sovereign identity change the KYC process for the users to the best? All of that regarding self-sovereign identity concept, verifiable credentials, and from your perspective, from your understanding, in that decentralized world, how will self-sovereign identity change the KYC process of your clients or potential clients? Something is breaking.
I think it's a very good question, because
something is breaking. Well, we just lost our guest. I hope he will connect to our stream as soon as possible. Next, we will discuss the very important concepts related to the metaverse and the banking in metaverse. If you wish, Nils, we could let's say switch off the video and create just audio connection to continue our stream.
Yeah.
Just for the sake of quality of our conversations, because I hope it will help our guests not to lose the meaning of that.
Definitely.
I'm stopping the videos.
Yeah. First of all, sorry about that. I don't know what's happened, but to answer your question about the KYC process, we have actually partnered up with a really good project, because I think in the future, sharing personal information isn't really necessarily in the means that the end user must know that this specific user is KYC or AML. They only need to have a yes or no answer to these kind of questions, right? And I believe it's every human right to have complete control over your personal data, and have your meaning in who can read it and who can share it, etc. All of these things. So I'm 100%.
Okay, but do you have a strategy how to implement that? Because yes, we could understand that let's say the future where the public institutions and governments are replaced by decentralized protocols. Yes, it's kind of it's a beautiful future. But what about current state? I mean, European regulations and others. Do you see any probability of actually, let's say, creating that verifiable credentials and to implement in, let's say, your neobank KYC process?
Exactly. It's We have partnered up with Purify and Onino, two different tech projects, which essentially one works with AML to make sure that DeFi and DeFi funds are not money laundered, essentially. And for the KYC process, we are talking with or partnering up with Onino, and they are providing this kind of solution to just give a yes or no type of answer to this data processing of KYC, etc., personal information, and also implementing that for Web3.
Could you spell it? Onino?
Onino, yeah. So like onion, but Onino.
Onino, got it. Is it decentralized or centralized? Because I know everything about Purify. I was part of the Purify team 1 year ago as an advisor. But what about the Onino? Is it a decentralized project?
Yeah, it's a decentralized project. They are building their own blockchain as well, or they will have two blockchains working together. So the user itself will have complete access of their personal data.
Wonderful.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. So and you know, for our perspective, working with these kind of things, when we had the discussion, we had a very long meeting, just celebrating and each other's project, because we felt like we fulfill each other so good in a sense.
Now, I hope for our guests, for our viewers, is 100% clear that you're putting the label of some sort of decentralized new bank, not just for the sake of marketing. Right now, everybody could understand that you actually decentralized entity and actually creating that, let's say, implementing that values of our crypto community to new banking and banking world. So it's very important to have let's say, ambassadors like you in traditional finance to not just trying to, let's say, get a lot of money out of the crypto hype, but just to implement our values, because I love that approach. We at Elmas Land also doing the same in offline world. We're trying to create the offline DAO. So we're trying to, let's say, implement, let's say, decentralized, the most beautiful decentralized approaches and technologies in traditional world. So thank you so much for sharing that, because right now it's clear. Okay, what is the role of the verified? Right now we're going slightly deeper. What is the role of the verified actions of some anonymous client in the metaverse in assessing his integrity and creditworthiness? So let's say we have some guy, maybe anonymous guy, living as some synthetic creature in couple big metaverses, building his business in metaverses, creating reputation in metaverses, creating, having a lot of relationships with other avatars or synthetic members, whatever, and maybe even with some machines, or maybe even being in the machine. Okay, let's too complicated. But still, what about that guy or some advanced participant of that metaverse? Could you work with that type of clients? Could you, as a bank, with all of that things we already discussed, to onboard that type of client? Do you have a strategy, maybe in the near future, not right now, but do you have a strategy for that type of clients?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's a really interesting question, not only from a cryptocurrency perspective, but how people will interact with each other on a social life. But let's try to keep it a bit towards the cryptocurrency part. I think because we're actually building our own blockchain. It's called BANCC. It's I call it tokenized proof of authority consensus algorithm. And in really simple terms, what this is a tokenized asset of validators. So instead of having your server, you can buy NFTs which will propose and confirm new blocks on the blockchain. And of course, we're Ethereum virtual machine compatible, so it will be possible to build not only games on top of the blockchain. But I think your question is how we can acquire new members that are interested in the metaverse, if I'm not mistaken, right?
Mostly it's about how to work as a new bank in metaverse, and how to work with also all of that anonymous but verifiable.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, exactly. And I think in those terms, it becomes like really easy to, or not easy to build high-tech solutions, but metaverse has been put a lot of money for the latest 2 years time in trying to find the new edge of what you can do in a metaverse. The way I see it, perhaps it's a far shot, but I really do believe that in the future, we will have the metaverse connected with the real life through Google glasses or whatever glasses type of thing. And I'm a huge psychologist fan as well, or enthusiast, and I really do believe connecting this kind of features together to think a thought about how much money do I have in my bank account, or how much money do I have in my video game or metaverse account, etc. All of these things, have online stores where you can buy and sell NFTs or other assets with real people, and do it in a safe, legit way. I would say.
Very interesting. By the way, we call it extended reality metaverses. So it's kind of extended reality metaverses.
Exactly. Yeah.
So it's a huge trend. From the technology perspective, it's very advanced. And thinking about that as a just question of money, it's also not right, because we have a partner like Meta Engine, one of the biggest guys on game engine development market before they came to metaverse engine market. And to let's say create that open worlds like with millions or even billions of actors, we just don't have enough engines. For example, I could mention like Unreal Engine or Unity Engine. They could not support that type of metaverses. It's like somebody thinking that they could build a game. I mean, a game with, let's say, billions of players acting actively in one space with Unity or Unreal. It's just kind of just impossible. I mean, impossible. And regarding the only two engines on Earth could sustain that type of interactions, and they not really ready for extended reality. So we need at least 5 years to create that, let's say, millions lines of codes to maintain that type of communications and that type of synthetic worlds. For example, I could mention Big World acquired by World of Tanks. I don't recall the name of the company, but it was acquired. It's not open on the market. Nobody could bought themselves the Big World engine to create the metaverse. And also we have a Hero engine. The guys behind Elder Scrolls Online and Star Wars: Old Republic, also one of the biggest games of the previous decades. But it's very complicated from every standpoint, not just from psychological standpoint, not from the regulation standpoint, not from some sort of public, let's say, agreement point of view, how we will, as a society, will address that evolution of our communication. And but it's also very important from a technological point of view, because it's easy to create smart contracts. It's easy. It's even kind of it's very complicated, but it's very solvable to create a new blockchain, to create the engine for extended reality metaverses. It's an ultimate rocket science. It could be even more complicated than send a man to the moon.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, the hard part isn't to figure how to do it. It's having the right way in terms of hardware as well, internet connection, etc. All of this. I think especially 5G, just having millions of people connected on the same platform at the same time. 5G will be a really important part on doing that with mega cities or metaverse cities or whatever you want to call it.
Yes, we could call it digital twins. I also like the idea of Autodesk BIM 7D methodology. So let's say the moment where MMORPG games connecting with let's say BIM 7D Autodesk methodology, it's the paramount of let's say methodologies that could drive us to very efficient digital twins and the ultimate layer for the extended reality metaverses of the future.
Yeah, definitely. If I'm just gonna say something last, I think cognitive psychology is undervalued in how important it will be for creating these connections with each other. Because I truly believe that in the future, you will have, as you said, a digital twin, and these thoughts will be connected with your cognitive parts in your brain. So when you want to do something, open a software program on your PC, or like I said earlier, check your bank account, greet somebody, it will be subconsciously doable with your digital twin, with specific hardware designed for it. I think it's a really interesting subject.
Yes,
how you can make it coexist.
We do realize that that's very important, but I hope it will not be centralized. I don't trust Elon Musk. I don't trust any government entity, let's say, to put a chip in my brain. I'm willing, if in case I'm willing to extend my body in some way, I'm willing be, let's say, completely decentralized, completely publicly, let's say, evaluated. It should be open source. It should be open source hardware. In that case, it's reasonable, because if that in the hands of decentralized community and it's some sort of decentralized trust, it's edible. I'm not ready to put some guys like Bill Gates in my mind, because those rich motherfuckers think not about our future, and they're not thinking about our prosperous future and the future of our race. They're thinking about some very strange stuff, and I'm not ready to be part of. They're very. I don't need that shit in my brain and in my life. So yes, it's very complicated. You need let's say you need millions. Dozens of millions to create the extended reality engine for extended reality metaverses, and you need actually billions to create some sort of decentralized chips to extend our body. So we face, as a crypto community, we face a lot of challenges, and as a crypto community, we should think not just about the new Dogecoin. We should think about, let's say, controlling our future. It's also the biggest, one of the biggest idea of Elmas land. We do realize that we, as a crypto community, as a decentralized project, we need to have ability to control the future of the technologies, and that's what will provide the freedom for us as a crypto community as well.
Definitely, I agree.
So, what is the role of the banks of the future in that meta societies? What is the role of the banks?
For me, the first thought that I have is that you will be your own bank, in one sense. I think banks is outdated in how they work. I think it's inefficient. It's very bad for the environment. It's very bad for the economy, and I think most of these things will be built on decentralized products. So like take MetaMask for an example. They are an excellent wallet provider, right? And you will have different sort of providers that we will use new kind of terms for. So I don't think banks will exist in that same kind of way it does today. Of course, we will have custody solutions, centralized solutions for finance, trading, etc. All of these things. But I do think it's a bit outdated, and we will be essentially our own banks, if we want to use that term. But we will have full custody of our funds, and it will be safely secured. But obviously, it will be up to that specific person that wants to, store his fund. If he doesn't trust himself to recover his, 12 seed phrase, 12-word seed phrase or whatever, there will be some sort of like solutions that provide these things, obviously.
It's very interesting, because actually I was thinking it's the same direction where that Vitalik's Buterin letter was, let's say, put it. It's also ability to, let's say, to recover the seed phrase for your decentralized identity, because some ring of trusted contacts that could help you to retrieve that seed phrase or whatever, because having the decentralized identity lost, you lose everything in that decentralized world, and that's why you definitely need that ability to be able, let's say, to retrieve your entity, essence. They call it soul. I don't like the idea of soul, but they call it the soul.
Yeah.
Very funny. Okay, let's move forward. So, what is the most inspiring for you personally in the new markets emerging and forming in our crypto universe? What's the most inspiring thing right now in that beautiful world?
I mean, I'm not really interested in, the gains or pricing increases and whatsoever. Of course, it's fun to, see when Bitcoin does a new all-time high or these kind of things. But what inspires me is products or projects that, have the intention to innovate something new that makes sense. I'm not only talking about ourselves, but other projects that takes a look at that problem and say, this is an issue. This is how we can solve it, and aims to do so. Instead of, talking about we're the best in this, we're the best in that, and having a pretty, laid back kind of mentality towards one step at a time, and making unique and innovative products. Because I remember the 2017, 2015, 16, 17 kind of craze, with all of these new blockchains emerging, and so many different from that times as it will be today will not succeed from these market conditions or business structure. And I like the new way of innovation and proven innovation, that they have done the research pretty good and they know a strategy that works and will work.
Okay,
that I would say inspires me the most.
Okay, let's go to the questions of our viewers. By the way, it feels like we have 5,700 current viewers online, and some of them lost it because it's becoming like a podcast, but still it's very good. Yeah. So I like the question of they call themselves properly pronounce your brand. BANCC, how it's should be spelled.
Yeah, we pronounce it bank. I say bank. You can call it bank or however. It's very similar to a bank, and that's like the case with the name because it's bank but with two C, so it's bank cryptocurrency, which is the name that it stands for. So bank.
Yeah, I like that double N, double C at the end. It looks very sexy. Something strange, but from the crypto perspective, is very, very interesting. Okay, so what is the marketing strategy for bank?
Yeah, that's a really good question. I think for us, because we're trying to tackle not only for extremely big market, money remittance services, payment processing, finance services such as exchanges, etc., but also marketplace for selling and reselling stuff online. Our marketing strategy right now is very cryptocurrency focused with the app development, etc., towards users that perhaps have a better understanding of what cryptocurrency is. In the future, when we release these standalone applications one by one, we will target specific kind of groups that isn't necessarily too vested into cryptocurrency, because we believe you don't necessarily need to understand cryptocurrency to use it. It should be so convenient for you that it just makes sense. And that's what we're striving for, to provide these kind of products. So we can make it easy for people to join the cryptocurrency atmosphere, but then necessarily don't need to understand it at the beginning, but onboarding customers that says, hey, you can send money to your family for 0% fees if you do this and that, etc. So that's our strategy that we want to involve, and much of these things includes blitzscaling. It's a marketing term for like hyper growth in startup companies to gain a lot of users in the beginning.
Wow. Okay. And what's the first product in your roadmap? What will be released and when, according to your roadmap?
Yeah, so we have released a BANCC, which we call it. It's a decentralized exchange aggregator. And we have released BANCC, which is a staking platform, and BANCC, which is a voting governance via. We will launch our own NFT marketplace this Friday with the first NFT validator spot, which we call it, which is like the genesis, the first one of the first one, which is going to be really interesting and really fun to showcase to the community. I have a lot of things to release, such as Bank Yield, which is a yield farming protocol, also a swap protocol on 25 different chains, because we believe in being interoperable is the best way to not miss any cryptocurrency users in using our platform. And that's for like the DApp development. Of course, we have cross-chain swap as well. So we have a lot of things on the DApp development, and we're working on the debit card functionality, the payment gateway functionality, and centralized exchange and marketplace. And we're aiming for releasing all of these things as standalone apps this year, and as a whole platform next year. So it's we're pretty efficient, if I can tap myself on the shoulder.
It's kind of amazing, As a quick question, how many members in your team? Because it's like you're like creating that 10 businesses.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, we're 8 people, and we're getting 2 more developers next week, which is gonna be really, really great, I would say, to have 2 full-time developers being dedicated. It will put much time of me focusing on other sides of the project that needs development on the technical side. So it's going to be amazing. 10 people, really small team, but we will grow one step at a time. I think it's important to maintain that kind of mentality.
Yes, I like that mentality. it's very strong. Basically, what was done right now, it's I'm just restating. It's a question of Vlada. Do you have MVP? I guess you already answered it to that question, and it feels like the Vlada is a winner. So she wins, let's say, our prize. And thank you so much for sharing that brilliant mentality and that brilliant way of doing crypto business and new banking. I hope the teams like yours could, let's say, drive the future for, let's say, crypto fintech world. And it's a great honor to be with you today.
Yeah, thank you so much. I really do much appreciate what you just said. It's an honor to talk with you and be here with you. I really enjoyed having some discussions with you. And sorry about the camera. Sometimes the internet connection is bad, and you need to adapt to make it work. So I really much appreciate for being here.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you.